In this video and next several videos, let's study the Kotlin language by creating Android app. So let's start under the Studio project. Then let me give a name of this app as a Kotlin data types. So the first thing we are going to learn is data types. So use my email address as a company domain. And the location of the project is under Documents folder. Kotlin support should be checked. Then we are going to have the minimum API 23 is Android 6 is the oldest version. We are going to deal with that for the time being. Then choose empty activity. Next. Then let's ignore a very old version of the Android. So turn off backwards. Finished. Then as we studied in the earlier video that this template generated by the Android Studio simply displays a hello world on the screen. First, the layout editor, we have a graphic version or text version. As you can see, the text version at the topmost structure is a constraint layout. So text view is one of the widgets to display text message. And then each widget has attributes. One of the attributes, text attributes, you can specify the string to be displayed in text view widget. When you place widgets like text views under constraint layout, you need to specify what is the bottom, where is the bottom, where the left side should go, where the right side should go, top should go, and so on. So for size of the widget, you need to specify constraint for that. But thanks to graphic editor, you can easily set those constraints. So by default, what Android Studio generates is that the text view widget has constraints to the top of the screen and on all four sides. On the circle ones, as I click, the constraint is removed. So as I remove the constraint on the bottom of the text widget, it is pulled all the way up so that hello world will be displayed on the very top of the screen. So let's just quickly test that. Then progress message on the bottom shows that it's compiling and then it's building an app, and then the app is installed on the emulator. Now hello world is displayed on the very top. So what I'm going to do is make the text view a little bit bigger so that I can display more messages there. And then instead of displaying message right away, I want to have a button below the text view. So from the palette, so choose a button, drag and drop on the text layout editor. As a button is placed, I don't give any constraint at all. So if I simply run it, the button will be displayed on the very top over anything there. So that's without any constraints. It will happen that way. So button is there. It's overlapping the text view, but this text editor is the location is not important until you give the constraint. So to assign constraint, the top of the button, the circle, just drag it and then connect it to text view. Then I have a given constraint on the top of the button. Then left side constraint to the left side of the screen, right side of screen, and then the button will be placed below text view, and then it will be centered horizontally. So let's check it out. If you continue to use the same device, then you can just check this on so that this will not be prompted again. Then a button will be placed below text view, the centered horizontally. It's now there. Next, as I click the button, I want to do something on the programming side. So programming is done in Kotlin code, main activity class there. So the program should know the button. So button should be recognized by the program. To do so, what you need to do is you need to assign ID of this button. So here on the attributes panel, you can assign ID of that. So you can give any name like a variable name, but let me just choose let me choose name as ID underscore button, like that. Then the label of the button, you can assign that. So in the bottom side of the attributes panel, there is a text. So as I change this one, like click me, then label of the button changes. So here, let me assign integer types as name of the button. So ID, to make it consistent, let me use ID int types, like that. Then from the Kotlin code, after the set content view, after reading the layout file, now I can get the handle of the button. That is the ID I assigned. So ID underscore, so the Android Studio gets some help for that. So that's the one. And then to have some handler, mean by that is as I click the button, I want to do something. Then you need to set some listener code to the button click event. That is a set on click listener, and then choose from the hints, choose the second one. So choosing this one. Then inside the curly braces, you can put any code there, and that will be run as you click the button. So any code you write here will be executed in response to this button click. So here in the button ID was there. So as a button is clicked, I want to display some message on the text view. Then on the text view, I need to assign some ID for that so that I can have a reference to that. So let's have a ID and then as a display there, and then initially hello world is there. So ID is assigned that way. Then from the code, so it asks updating. So here ID display, and then text is the attribute of the text view, and then you can assign some value as a string there. The button has clicked, like. Then as I run this program, we should be able to see this message is displayed when I click the button. So hello world, button's there. Now as I click the button has clicked message comes. So that is a event handler. So the details of this syntax and the meaning of that we will study in later video. But basically what you need to know here is that this is the ID of the widget I assign. So for this button, I assign the ID from ID attributes window. Then from that ID, you can call set onClick listener method, and then using curly brace notation, you can write the code which will be the event listener. When button is clicked, whatever code you write within curly brace, so that one will be executed. Sometimes as you change, you may notice that the ID used becomes an unresolved reference or something like that. In that case, you need to do just a build and rebuild the project. Then all those references will be cleaned up and then build again, and then those error will be gone.